Hi friends, today we are dealing with the third semester B.Pharm Pharmaceutical Microbiology subject. During our condition, we are unable to see the laboratory condition. So let's have a look and start craving into the world of microbiology and its vast application. Before that, in this session, we are dealing with the aseptic technique we are dealing in microbiology lab. So let's start. The general aseptic techniques in microbiology laboratory include, first of all, what is aseptic technique? Aseptic technique is a set of routine measures, that is normally done procedures that are taken to prevent the cultures, sterile media stocks and other solutions to avoid contamination by the unwanted microorganism. While such condition, we are using this type of sterile technique. The term is known as sterile technique. Simply, it is done to prevent the introduction of any unwanted organism in the laboratory or through the medical equipment or the reagent used. The goal of a biologist or a microbiologist is to grow the microorganism or the eukaryotic cell without the introduction of the unwanted or the extraneous organism. The aseptic techniques are very crucial for the accurate and meaningful experimentation and find out the reproductive interpretations. However, there are a number of simple common sense procedures that will reduce the risk of culture contamination. To avoid that, we want to maintain or we want to make a aseptic technique or aseptic row. The aseptic technique control the opportunities for contamination of the cultures by microorganisms from the environment or contamination of the environment by the organism we are handling. This is a photo showing the laboratory practice. This is a normal picture that we seen in our laboratory. Before going to any experiment or any procedure, we want to collect whatever the materials we want and done in a aseptic manner as we already mentioned. This is just simple arrangement before going an experiment. That is, in aseptic technique, we want to keep aside what are the reagents or what are the materials we want for the particular experiment. The examples of the aseptic techniques are cleaning and disinfecting the lab surface prior to use, which is the first thing, and limiting the duration that cultures or the media are uncapped and exposed to the air. That is, minimum exposure of the culture or the media during the experiment. Transfer fastly and cap the either test tube we use or cap the testing broth we use, and keeping the petri dishes closed whenever possible to maintain an aseptic condition, and effectively sterilizing the inoculating lube and other equipment that comes in contact with the culture or media, and avoid breathing on cultures or sterile instruments. These are simple examples for maintaining the aseptic techniques. Come to the sterile handling. For handling our equipments and whatever it may be, first we want to wipe your hands and work area with 70% ethanol. It is recommended to wear gloves in microbiology lab. This will prevent any foreign contaminants from coming in contact with the customers and sample during our testing. If gloves are not used, it is necessary to wash our hands before and after testing. Wipe the outside portion of our containers, flasks, plates and dishes with 70% ethanol. Be placing them in a culture hood. And note that avoid pouring media and reagent directly from bottle or flask. We have to use sterile glass or disposable plastic pipette and a pipetter if you are working with a liquid. And note that we want to use each pipette only once to avoid cross contamination. And note that do not unwrap the sterile portion until they are to be used. Either a pipette or a glass petri dish, in whatever may be, do not unwrap until whenever it is necessary. Always cap the bottles and flasks after use and seal multi-well plates with tape or place them in a resealable bag to prevent the entry of microorganisms. Next, we are looking how to inoculate the agar plates, slopes and cultures. This is the diagram of an agar plate. Here, we want to carry out the transfer of cultures as quickly as possible with tubes, plates, etc. to minimize the contact time with the outside environment. The normal practice is that to open the agar plates away from the body and without removing the lid completely from the base. That is, partially we are opening the lid over the base of the petri plate and transferring the culture. In instance, when the lid of the petri dish may be removed for longer period than normal, we want to make sure that the petri plate is working in close contact to the Bunsen burner flame to reduce the chances of contamination. If you are finding or experiencing frequent contamination of plates with fungal spores, we can inoculate the plate from below with the agar surface facing downwards, so we can avoid such contamination. Next, we are dealing with how to use a wire loop. This is the wire loop we are using or called as inoculating loop we are using in the microbiology lab, and this is the inoculation needle we are using in our lab. First, we want to note that before using or utilizing the wire loop for the inoculation purpose, first we want to sterilize the wire loop by heating to the red hot flame that is above the Bunsen burner flame before and after the use. Now that we want to use, that is we want to preheat the inoculation loop before and after the use. This will ensure the contaminating bacteria spores are there in our inoculating loop. This can be avoided by heating over the Bunsen burner flame. Then we can move how to use this wire loop. By using a wire loop, we want to hold the handle of the wire loop close to the top, like as you hold a pen at an angle that is almost vertical. This leaves our little finger free to take hold of our screw cap or cotton plug of the bottle. It also ensures that any liquid culture on the loop will run down into the flame. First of all, we want to sterilize a wire loop as we already mentioned, and the flaming procedure should heat the tip of the loop gradually. This is because after use it will contain some culture and which may splutter on rapid heating and possibly release small particles of culture forming an aerosol. To avoid that, we want to heat the tip of the loop gradually and the position the handle at the end of the wire above the light blue cone of the flame. This is the coolest area of the flame, so we are maintaining above the blue cone of the flame. And we want to keep up to we get an hottest region of the flame and hold this inoculation loop until it is red hot. And we want to ensure that the full length of the wire receives adequate heating. The same procedure is done on the inoculation loop after carrying out the procedure to discard the microorganism. By this, we can find out how we can use a wire loop. Next, we are dealing with how to handle a bottle, test tube as well as the conical flask. This is the diagram of using the conical flask. First of all, we want to loosen, that is, this ensure that no microorganism enter the mouth of the vessel to contaminate the culture of the medium. For that, we want to pass the mouth of the bottle above the flame that will produce a convection current and help to prevent the contamination. And the hot part of the flame is about the inner bright blue cone, that is about the blue flame, and the vessel need to be moved through the flame. That is not held in a place. We are moving the mouth of the conical flask or whatever the utensils you want to meet above the flame. Then we want to loosen the cap of the bottle so that we can remove it easily. And lift the bottle or test tube with your left hand and remove the cap or cotton wool plug, whatever it may be, or it is a test tube. Unplug and curl towards the palm of your right hand, and do not put down the cap or cotton wool plug because this is a sterile one. So we want to keep in our finger, and after that, after transferring the culture, flame the neck of the bottle or the test tube by passing the neck forward and back through the hot Bunsen burner flame. By this technique, we can aseptically transfer the culture from the conical flasks, bottles, and test tubes. This is the Bunsen burner. We are utilizing this in our lab from the first year onwards, and this is simple a gas powered burner. This common piece of equipment was designed by the German chemist Robert Wilhelm Bunsen. So this burner get the name Bunsen burner, and major purpose of this open flame in aseptic technique is to create a cone of hot air above and around the laboratory bench. And the ability of the Bunsen burner flame to heat things very quickly make it an ideal choice for sterilizing the inoculating loop, warming glass bottle neck, or igniting alcohol on culture spreaders. Next, we are dealing with the laminar flow unit. This is the diagram of the inward photograph of the laminar flow unit. A laminar flow unit, or it is known as HOOD, HOOD. This is a sophisticated applicant that can further help to prevent the contamination of reagents and biological cultures. If it used correctly, it provides the workspace with a clean, ultra-filtered air. And it also keeps the room air from entering the work area and both suspend and remove the airborne contaminants introduced into the work area by the staff. The most important part of this laminar flow hood is a highly efficient bacteria retentive filter, that is the HEPA filter, that is simply the high efficiency particulate air filter. This HEPA filter is using in our laminar flow unit or flow hood. And a HEPA filter, that is a certified HEPA filter, must capture a minimum of 99.97% of the dust, pollen, molds, bacteria, and any airborne particles with a size of greater than 0.3 micrometer at 85 liters per minute. The laminar flow hoods are an essential component for maintaining the biosafety level, that is BSL 2 laboratories where they help the spread of viruses. The first HEPA filters is developed in 1940s during or as a part of Manhattan Project to provide an efficient, effective way to filter the radioactive particulate contaminants during the USA Atomic Energy Commission as a part of the project. That is during the development of the atomic bomb in 1940. That was the first HEPA filter used, and this HEPA filters used in the laminar flow hood we are using in our laboratory to maintain an aseptic area. By this, we come to the end of the session. In this session, we deal with the aseptic technique that are using in our microbiology lab. I think this session will be helpful for all students who are going to deal with the microbiology session in the coming academic year. So if you find this session helpful, please like, comment, and if you are not subscribed till now, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again.